And an example of this I see a lot of in this area is food products. So food products people, they've developed something that in their kitchen that tastes delicious. As long as you can safely being the key word, get it in front of people, have them taste it, get their feedback. And so I think I told the story a couple times. Maybe. Have I talked about Emmy's Organics here? You guys know that? Yeah, no. So let me talk about Emmy's Organics. So Emmy's Organics is a company I know well. It hits your point about product. Like they went out and, I'll tell you the problem they were trying to solve with customers. Here's the problem. Emmy's Organics was started by two young people who had limited diets for two reasons. One was medical reasons, and the other was their, for lack of a better term, their own political beliefs. So they wanted to have gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, organic, non-GMO.
Boring.
Boring stuff.
And they didn't want it to be boring. That was one of the requirements. Like, why can't we have medically sound, socially sound, and delicious? Why are these mutually exclusive? And they said, well, let's challenge that. And they got in the kitchen and started figuring out things. And one of the things they figured out that they were really good at making were macaroons. So macaroon is a little coconut cookie. Turns out it's also a raw product. It's dehydrated, not cooked. And so it fit these criteria, and they're delicious. And so one of the things that they did with these little macaroons, they said, well, let's go out and test them. Test them safely. So Cornell has a group, which anybody doing food products should know about, and Genetos about them. They will tell you how to make it. So the last thing I want anybody to do is to poison somebody, so please make sure you can safely make this. I think they charge $25. So if $25 keeps you from poisoning somebody, that's money well spent. And if you want the contact there, I can provide it. So they figured out how to safely make these macaroons that met these criteria, and they went to the farmer's market, and they didn't even have the money to have their own booth, so they borrowed their friend's booth, and they started selling these macaroons. And they had some assumptions about who they thought their customers were. Frankly, they thought they were Ithaca hippies. Right? It's going to be just the gray ponytail crowd with Birkenstocks. That's who they thought they were going to be selling to. And they thought they were also going to be extremely price sensitive. So they were selling these things for not a lot of money, almost losing money trying to figure out the market. Getting to your point about whether you're inherently an entrepreneur or not, these folks, I think, are. They have great work ethic. One of them's a theater major, one of them's a music DJ. And they started looking at who the customer was and who was buying. And it wasn't the Ithaca hippies with the Birkenstocks and great ponytails. It was young mothers with young children. And they also noticed that they could play around with the price point, and they found that the young mothers with young children aren't that price sensitive. So they started to raise their prices, and they figured out the quantities and the portion, and they were able to test different recipes. So they said, do they like lemon or lime or cayenne pepper or chocolate, whatever. You guys, they have a whole array, and I encourage you to check out the products. They're delightful. But they did this all through customer interactions. But to your point, because the cost of the product was so low, they could be product tested. So there's a caveat here, but it's still customer focused. What they didn't do is they didn't do a huge production run, make a bunch of lemon spice, go to Whole Foods and say, I got 10,000, you want to buy them? Huh? That didn't happen. Now, they are now in 2,000 Whole Foods around the United States, a multi-million-dollar business, and they have the founder of Ben & Jerry's on their board of directors, but they didn't start there. They progressed there. It was all driven by customer interactions. And as they've grown their product line, they make much more than macaroons now. They've done it through interacting with their customers. One of their key ways they've been able to do it is through social media. So they still do the farmers market, still do talk to people. And they still are following the same philosophy from when they were whipping these up. And in this case, Emmy is not the CEO. The CEO is Samantha. Emmy is her aunt. And so they started out making it in her aunt's kitchen. So the name is a tribute to their aunt for letting them use their. But the CEO is Samantha Abrams. She's a graduate of Ithaca College out of the theater department. And she now sits on their business advisory council along with people 30 years her senior. And quite frankly, she can hold court with the best of them. So, yeah. If you can do it cheap enough, get it out there. Good question. Anybody else? That's Tony.
Go ahead.
I didn't have a question. I was supposed to be.
So the conversation tonight is a lot about, do you think you're ready?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever, clearly I'm loading this question, have you ever come across people who weren't, and how did you help them figure that out?
Yeah, so the people who weren't ready, more often than not, were folks who were missing some key skills. Now, I'm not saying this is an exhaustive list, but this is some key skills. So I mentioned I'm faculty up at Ithaca College in Cornell. I encounter a lot of students who say, what courses should I take to better prepare me to be an entrepreneur? Or maybe what job should I take to better prepare me to be an entrepreneur? And so I think the coursework stuff is pretty self-explanatory. I don't anticipate a lot of people going back to campus. But from a job perspective, one of the things I encourage people to do is find a job where you're responsible for a key result, because that will prepare you to be the CEO. So CEO really means Chief Everything Else Officer. You're responsible for getting everything done. And so if you're in a job where you're responsible for the result, I don't care if your job is to make sure this widget gets to Cleveland by Tuesday at 4 o'clock, be responsible for that result. So the folks that I find are not prepared, either missing some key skills or have not had the meaningful work experience to understand just what it means to be accountable for everything. But that's a fixable solution. Any other questions? All right, this is the fun part. Open mic. Who would like to be our first volunteer? Oh, we have our first volunteer.
No, sorry, I have to go to another
Oh,
meeting.
no. That's it. No? No? Come on.
Oh,
All
awesome.
right.
All we ask is just keep it.
Okay. This is going to be repeat for some people. I invite you to come up and take a flyer that I made. Once again, just kind of using this as an opportunity to plug our charity event at Lakewood Vineyards, which is happening in 2 weeks from Saturday, February 27th. It benefits My Place, which is a play and learning center. It's the only not-for-profit children's care center here in Schuyler County. And we're doing a fundraiser. It's catered, entertainment provided, dinner at our winery at Lakewood Vineyards. We are going to be featuring wines and beers that earlier in the day were judged by winemakers and brewers of the Finger Lakes, and you guys as attendees get to sample all of those wines and beers when you come to the event. We'll have silent auction, all sorts of other fun stuff. It's going to be a really great event. We're excited to partner with these guys for this event. I think it's going to be a big deal for this community. So please come out, please pick up one of these flyers, and hopefully we'll see you on Saturday.
You did mention that the winemakers judge the beers and beer makers.
Yeah, the winemakers are going to be judging the beers, and the brewers are going to be judging the wines. So it's a bit of a twist on a classic theme. But then, if you guys come, you get to judge all of them for yourselves.
Anybody else?
Just because I feel I'm so unusual.
All right, we like that.
My name is Sue Silhan. My husband and I have opened a business actually a year ago, Sela Yoga and Music. We have this great vision that started off with just changing our barn into a wonderful musical yoga venue, and we ran out of money and went into a little debt. But the trailer across the street came up for sale, so we bought that. So we're currently starting small. I have yoga classes during the week, and I've taken it out into the community. I've done some at a local winery, and my husband is teaching lessons, music lessons, and he's getting more adults. A lot of seniors are really, they're retiring and saying things like, I've always wanted to play the piano. But we had a vision of coming here. We're one of those people. We came from Long Island. We both had very busy careers and retired and came up here where it's a little quieter, and had this vision of bringing just the healing quality of yoga and music. And we don't work together. We have separate parts, which is kind of good, to this space. And then so we're really not even sure where it's going right now, but we are open. So I also have some rack cards. I'll put them up here, so when you come out, you can pick one up. But yes.
So where are you located, and what form of yoga do you teach?
Well, I teach hatha yoga. It's very specific to healing and wholeness. I'm an RN as well. So the yoga I teach, I have students that have fibromyalgia, osteoporosis. I am not a yoga therapist. That's kind of a new thing, and your question was that, like, that's coming up. There was just a big article in one of the yoga magazines, and I think the New York Times, where the doctors, mainstream Western doctors, are now prescribing yoga therapy to their patients. So being an RN for 35 years and seeing how yoga can heal, and it is a mind, body, spirit thing. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And that's part of the healing quality. So we're up on Route 79 in just after you get into Bennettsburg on the way to Ithaca. And it's a nice little trailer right across the street from our house, so I can walk to work with my cup of coffee. And that was one of those things, like more free time.
Okay, so where is Bennettsburg?
It's in Burdett.
It's one
So
of
if
the
you're going
suburbs
up the
of Burdett.
hill from Watkins, going on 79 up towards Ithaca, it's a little burg, Bennettsburg.
It's a 40
And
mile
so
hour speed zone.
the only reason I mention it, right, you have to go 40, nobody
It's called a
does.
speed trap.
It's on the left, past
It's
the
a
old
speed
church.
trap, but you know, I'm standing there with my coffee waiting to cross the street and everybody's doing 60. And I'm wishing they would do 40. But yeah, it's just, it's probably about 4 miles up from the light in Burdett.
Okay.
Corner of Coates Road, pretty much?
Yeah, right after Coates Road,
Right after
actually,
Coates
thank
Road.
you, yeah.
And I have to ask this too, so if someone's never had yoga,
I
is
have
it-
a gentle class. You can do yoga sitting in a chair. And I have a beginner's class, and I have a more advanced flow class, which isn't really super advanced. I mean, I started doing yoga in my 40s. I will never stand on my head, and I tell my students that. And if I have young people that come to me and they want to do all that new acro yoga stuff, I have referrals I can send them to. So that's kind of my forte, is starting people out who have never done yoga before and don't understand that it's something anyone can do and how healing it is. And so my goal is not to make a lot of money. I had my career, and though making a lot of money would be great to pay off my debt, but my goal is really to empower people to be able to do these things on their own. It's something you can do in your living room that can help you. And so that's really the goal of that.
and how did you find Bennettsburg? I'm having a hard time with that word.
Crazy story. Well, my sister went to Portland, and she met her husband there, who is the gymnastics coach at the college. She works with him sometimes, and they moved here, and then one by one, I have 3 sisters, so 2 of the others moved up. My parents moved up when they retired, and my husband and I were the only ones left on Long Island. And we do have a daughter and a granddaughter down there, so we make frequent trips. But yeah, just the whole family came up here. It was
That's
just
awesome.
en masse, yeah. And it's nice. We love it. We love it. So, thank you. Yeah.
I'm Toby Thornton. I am a pre-K teacher, a teacher of 20 years. I have 20 years of experience teaching kids. I'm very much an effectual planner. And I'm in the process of creating a food truck. And my focus is what I know best, and that's kids and parents. I know that after work, when you have to take kids from point A to point B, you're really, really tired. And we're often drawn to just a regular drive-through, McDonald's, all these kinds of things. When there was an art exhibit where they took a Happy Meal and put it on a shelf for 80 days and photographed it every day, and it never went bad. My son and I have never eaten McDonald's since. And so I would like to provide families and kids with something that is whole food, nutritious, and fast. And to get rid of those hangries before it gets too out of control. And it's kind of funny, being an entrepreneur is very much like being in the classroom. I tend to be a little more causal in the classroom, knowing where things are going to go just because I've been there for 20 years. But I do find myself putting out lots of fires. So I'm really hoping that this will be not so much a money-making adventure, but an adventure. I love to cook for people. It's something that I've thought about for a really long time, and it seems like we're in the height of the food truck thing, so hey, mini kitchen, why not?
Are you working with anyone who has a food truck?
I know lots of people who do have food trucks, and we all network together, yeah.
Where are you gonna do this and be based?
I am going to take the, I am going to be working in Horseheads. There are some all-day soccer games and after-school activities. So I'm going to do that type of thing. And I'm also going to take the quick, fast buck and hit the wine trip.
It's a truck, Ted.
It's a truck.
Yeah, but it's still a kind of, I didn't know where it was.
What's the name of your food truck?
It is Over the Moon Grilled Cheesery. So everything is based on a nursery rhyme.
That's awesome. And so when will we see your truck?
I'm hoping for the end of April, but you know, I'm right in the process of organizing. I have to give up a little bit of control because I have to organize other people that need to do other stuff. Like we have a metal worker, an electrician, and a mechanic. So all of those people play very important roles. And so now I am basically in not a holding pattern, but an organizational pattern of getting everybody to get things done on time, to keep that my own personal deadline.
So you're building this truck.
We bought a truck that had some stuff done that a lot of people want to do this type of thing. It's kind of it's a hip thing to do. And I guess it's a lucky time for me to do it. I've just discovered that there are no kid trucks, so that's also kind of lucky for me. Someone started building our truck, and they just kind of were like, well, you know, I don't think I can get this off the ground, and I swooped in and said, hey, I think I can. In fact, I know I can, and I think it's going to be great.
What type of foods are you going to offer?
We are doing a variety of grilled cheese and mac and cheese, and I make my own vegan cheese too, so I've got every dietary issue covered. And I just do it mostly, I like the challenge. I love teaching, it's really, really fun, but I need something else, something creative, something fun, something different, something that fulfills my life in a different kind of way.
Do you see yourself like having a fleet of trucks?
I see myself having this one truck. I have, if I have to look 10 years down the road, I have an idea already for another truck in a much larger city. I'm not going to retire around here, so cooking is something that I really, really love, and unless having a food truck absolutely makes me hate it, which I doubt, I'm used to serving thousands of people. I'm a huge, I'm the #1 cook in our kitchen for the Jewish Food Festival in Elmira that takes place every year. I'll be making 12 kugel on Monday. So I don't see that really happening, but I do have a plan for what I want to do when I retire. What I'd really like to do is take and have a truck that goes out and works with a local soup kitchen and what food is coming in, and to take that food out onto the street for homeless people. So that's what I want to do when I retire. So I'm kind of prepping for my retirement as well.
That seems so obvious. I can't understand why it's not happening. It's like an obvious thing, right? Take food to the people who need it.
It's tricky.
It's like a safety thing.
Yeah. Regulation.
And yeah, safe food handling people, very, very important. There are lots and lots of rules.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Anyone else?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
So one of the things I meant to close with before I turn over to open mics, we can do it now, is we do these things each month, typically on the second Wednesday, and I'd like to know what you guys want to talk about next. So when we last discussed this, I think analytics was one, but also Lee was volunteering to run the next session. How's that coming, Lee?
We should talk.
Do you want to tell the audience what you're thinking about? Do you think you could do it next time?
So there's two things on the table, and that's sort of why I don't want to leave too much. One of them was, what does it feel like to get past the honeymoon stage? So we've all talked about this. What does it feel like to start it up? And what do you need to have? And what's in your toolbox? And who do you know and how do you get it going? Okay, well, what happens after that? And so we were talking about having, what is her name?